Hi, guys. Welcome back to this episode where, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about love. So, I recently heard this. It's one of those things where, like, I'm really interested in like psychology and how humans think, how friends and family of mine think. Like, I like to dissect things in my own little mind since I was like a kid. And so I've thought a lot about love. I am a hopeless romantic. If you didn't know that, now you do. By the way, welcome. Thank you so much for anyone who's currently watching or anybody who's going to be watching later. Um, I greatly appreciate the fact that some of you guys came from my main channel. If you don't know about my main channel on YouTube, please check it out. A link down below. It's Living with Lucy. This is my second channel over here. And this is just kind of like whatever that's on my mind. I want to share with you guys in hopes that it connects with someone or you can learn something from it or you enjoy it in some way, shape, or form and it helps you. That makes me happy. So I'm just here to share. This is something that I've always heard of. I feel like a part of me always knew, but I don't know. I think recently when I heard it, as you grow and you get more experience, or sometimes I feel like now that I'm older, I'm more able to dissect my past in a different way. Like when I was younger, like as a teenager, I feel like I didn't have enough experience to look back at. So when I hear quotes like this, I'm like, yeah, 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 I get it. Like, I'll be like, I know what it means. Like, and you know the gist of certain things, just like when you were to listen to a song when you're young and you're like, I love this song. I feel like I can connect. Maybe you had puppy love or something, and or you read a story and you feel like you can connect, but maybe you didn't have enough life experience to truly have that song like seep into your soul type of situation. I think when you grow older, or at least for me, I think the older I get, the more I'm able to look back at the past where maybe it hurt too much to look back at the past in the moment, or I just went through a breakup and it was way too hard for me to judge me and my ex or judge the entire relationship, judge myself. I wrote in my diary all the time, but I feel like there's just so many parts to it, so many components to every relationship, every breakup that sometimes you just maybe you wanna even block out and you don't even wanna think about it. Um, but yeah, um, we it's such a loaded phrase. We accept the love that we think we deserve. And I 100% agree with this. I just wish that I knew this earlier. I would have avoided a lot more situations that I felt like dragged on too long or even falling, whether it's I don't think it was love. There were moments in my life where I feel like I also fell into maybe it was lust or just fell for people that it's not it's not because I feel like I love them for who they are. It's more in the sense of I didn't love myself enough. And I wasn't even maybe in a sense I wasn't trying to self-improve. And so I didn't feel like I deserved better. At least some of my relationships, I look back at it, whether it's a very serious relationship or just a situationship, even with certain friendships, honestly. I feel like this whole we accept the love that we think we deserve. I think it honestly it kind of applies to everything in life, like including family love and friendships. It's just I guess it's kind of hard to think back to. I know it hurts. It hurts myself. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to share it. I'm going to share it because this is what I do. I like to share with you guys, even if it means being vulnerable, but it does suck. I've already played this over and over in my mind many times, but I think as a human being, no matter how much we could say, "Oh, the past is the past." I don't actually enjoy looking back at my past. The the past that's not glamorous. I don't actually enjoy revisiting my mistakes. Or even honestly, like, when people are in denial, it's because they don't want to even admit when they've made mistakes or their past was not an ideal past. And actually, adding to that, I also heard of a thing which kinda helped me with, like, understanding why maybe some people don't wanna be friends anymore or why certain people aren't friends with each other after a very long time. I heard this thing about how some folks don't want to revisit certain friendships or maybe they drop people because those people remind them of, like, the worst versions of themselves. So it's not like sometimes you get dropped, they're just dropping you because they don't like you or they think you're a bad person, but sometimes you get dropped because you were a part of someone's life in their worst of times. Maybe they did like, really didn't like themselves, they were going through something really rough, and you were a part of that. So now that maybe they moved to another country or maybe they moved to another city and they have this entire new life, and you're like, "Why aren't we friends anymore?" And this person changed so much. And maybe they did change a lot, or maybe they're stuck up. But I think there is a component to it where some people just you remind them of the past that they don't want to remember, and it may not even have been you, it's just a portion of their life. I don't necessarily agree with that too much, um, but that's also something that has crossed my mind. Okay, so back to love. We accept the love that we think we deserve. I guess I'll start with myself first. I think I always I'm a hopeless romantic, like I said, so I always felt like even when I was 10, I just wanted to be in love, and I felt like that was the most important thing in the world. I don't know if it's like the Cinderella stories, the Disney stories, all the books and all the TV shows that kind of, like, affected me to have this type of thinking. It could be, but even if it is, honestly, it's too late, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna change. Like, that is ingrained in who I am. That's a whole other topic between, like, social media and, like, the stories that we read and who we are, but I always knew this as a kid, like, from my earliest memories, I was like, "I wanna be in love, like, I wanna fall in love, I wanna find, like, Prince Charming in a sense," and yeah, at one point in my life, I felt like and that's probably where it started, the problem. I'm not blaming stories for the problem, but growing up I felt like I was always fed the story of, like, Cinderella and how the prince came along and really her life changed. It's kind of as if a man can change your entire world, as if a man can save you, as if being in a relationship, it's like once upon a time, things maybe were terrible for you and life sucked, but then all of a sudden you find this person, this other being, and they just save you and everything's gonna be okay. Now, bring it back to the present. I've been through a lot of garbage and confusion and bad relationships or just relationships that were good but didn't work out. Just been through a lot to fast forward to now, the present time, where I feel very, very grateful and lucky to be in love, to have been in love for many years now, um, with my man. And I still kind of a part of me, I guess, is always gonna be that hopeless romantic, and I do apply it where I'm like I do tell him and I'm like, "I love you so much that it's beyond words, and it's more than I've ever felt, and I stick to all those words. It's 100% true. But I also think that that is not true, and that's not what I'm gonna be teaching my future daughter or son, that you are going to be saved by anyone. I think that's where it also gets problematic and where it's like that whole thing comes in where you accept the love you think you deserve. You really have to love yourself. You really have to grow for yourself in order for you to save yourself and love yourself. So as much as I love my SO and I know he loves me and we have our everybody has problems in their relationships and I feel like we're not perfect, but I think we're close to perfect. Very happy as I've told you guys. And even though through all this happiness I have to take credit, like, for myself. I do believe that I've worked a lot on myself, and he's definitely the catalyst to inspire me to be a better person, to inspire me to have a better future for myself and for with him and for whoever and any other, like, relationship I would have ever been in. Like, I basically just feel like when I fell in love with him, I decided, like, I need to do better. Like, I need to be better because I love this person so much. And also, they love me so much that I wanna become almost this person that is worthy of that love. So it's all those components along with the fact that I also just wanted to, like I've always wanted to work on myself before I met my ex and, like, through old relationships. But to be honest, I feel like it's a work in progress. I'm still not, I feel like 100%, and maybe I'll never will be, like, the perfect being that I dream of being for myself. Not to be the perfect being, I don't think anyone's gonna be the perfect human being, but I think every single person has that vision for themselves. Like, I'll tell you my vision. My vision for myself as the perfect being as me is somebody who wakes up early, which I'm still not doing, wakes up early, sleeps at least like 8, 9 hours a day, so I get enough sleep and I'm waking up early because I don't wanna be the person that wakes up really early, but then you're, like, not getting enough sleep and then you just get really tired. I've done that, that's terrible. So, my perfect being, the version of myself would be I sleep long enough, I wake up super early, I work out every single day or near every single day, I'm very, very fit, I'm eating mainly healthy foods. I could still snack here and there, but I'm not like an addicted food junkie, which I definitely think I have always been in my entire life. And it really is it feels great when I'm snacking and I'm watching Netflix, not gonna lie, it's great. But I wish I like, the perfect being version of myself would be above that. I would like to think that, you know, I wanna work towards being someone who never feels sad if I turn down, like, ice cream once a week. I've been eating ice cream, like, a couple times a week, which is pretty bad. And there's been a point in my life where I just ate ice cream, like, every other day or every day, which is, like, really, really bad. Um, but yeah, that would add to, like, one of my like, eating better, eating healthy, being more responsible would also add to the perfect version that I envision for myself. Um, grow my hair even longer. I already have long hair. Sometimes people compliment me for, like, they wish they had my hair or whatever, but I want even longer hair. Like, I want mermaid length hair. That would be, like, how I envision myself to be, like, the best version of myself. And, like, people say I have a lot of hair, and I've had hairdressers tell me I have a lot of hair, but I honestly feel like I'm going bald. Like, to be honest, I always and I know every girl talks about this, like, they see a lot of, like, hair in the drain or, like, they see hair on the ground, and there's so much hair everywhere. I honestly, like, I feel like and because I'm aging, so, like, not being, like, 16 anymore and having hair on the ground all the time, which I feel like is more normal because I don't have to worry about the fact that I'm getting older and, like, maybe I'm balding, but now I'm like, "Oh my god," I see, like, vloggers talk about the fact that they're balding and they're, like, in their early 20s. I'm like, "Oh my god, they're so much younger than me and they're going balding." Like, what's happening with my head? So, also sorry, I'm, like, veering off a bunch of times, but I'll try to stay, like, within the scope of this conversation. That's what I like about this channel now, or I'm trying to make my live streams more, like, controlled because I at one point, I did a bunch of live streams on the other channel, and it was just it was just me chatting the whole time, but about, like, a billion things, and again, nothing wrong with that, but I think I'd like to keep it more in the same conversation, so then, like, you could just move to another episode if you don't wanna hear about relationships. Okay, so back to that. Um, I'll be quicker with it. There's so many things I want to be as, like, the perfect version, that I envision for myself as, like, the perfect Lucy that I could ever be, and it would be, like, hair down to my back, a lot more hair than I have now. Um, and then I want whiter teeth. I want which I think you can pay for, but I haven't done that. I have friends who've whitened their teeth and it looks much brighter and whiter. But I've always been warned by dentists that if I do that, I will have a lot of teeth sensitivity, and I'm like, "Oh, do I wanna trade off looks for a lot of teeth sensitivity and feel uncomfortable when I'm eating ice cream and stuff?" I don't know, but maybe one day I'll do it, right? And I also wanna dress better. I wanna be the type of girl that wears a super cute outfit even to the grocery store because I have no ugly outfits, and I that's just not me. I have so many outfits where I'm like, "Oh my god, why am I even wearing this?" Like, I literally look like I'm basically homeless. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? But I do that a lot, and I would one day like to think that I'm gonna own the perfect me would have, like, this giant house, not giant, but, like, a big house with, like, an amazing walk-in closet. I'm gonna have all these beautiful clothes and handbags, and I'll have my nails done all the time. I don't know. Like there's those are like the physical parts of the perfect me that I envision that probably may not ever come true. And I also, like I said, want to work out and be really fit. I would like to have an hourglass shape, uh, nicer butt. Like, there's a lot of things I want to work on for myself physically and obviously financially as well. I would like to be at least 100 times wealthier than I am now, or like at least 50x what I am now. Basically, I want to be a multimillionaire for sure because especially since I choose to live in California. I mean, I know you could live in like a cheaper place, a cheaper state, but because I choose to live in this just really expensive state, yeah, I would probably need. Did you hear that crack? That was like it was like my leg. Um, yeah, I basically would like to be a multimillionaire in this perfect me that I envision. Anyways, enough about the perfect me that I envision for myself. I feel like we all know what we would all like to be. There's always like that perfect version of yourself that you'd like to be, and you're like, man, why am I doing this? Why am I not working out to get that summer body that I want? Why am I not doing all these things like A B C D E F G that is needed to be this person? And then we end up, like, feeling bad about ourselves, but don't worry, like, you're not alone if you feel that way, because I feel that way, like, all the time. Um, but to bring it all back, why I was talking about how I think even if you found the love of your life, which I believe I have, and I know people say this all the time, and then maybe they break up or get a divorce, and then they're like, "Never mind, that wasn't the one." But I just believe that when you find the one, like I have now, it is gonna make so many things better. I do feel like if I lost everything, like, financially, um, and I gained, like, I don't know, 100 pounds, or I got super sick, just all these other things I can't control, or all these terrible, unlucky things happen to me, I feel like they all just wouldn't be as bad because I have love, and I truly love the person that I'm with, and I know that they love me. So I'm like it's like winning the lottery, in my opinion, like, by being with the person that you really love, because it really does feel like you're whole, like, in one aspect of your life. So then when other aspects go wrong, you're like, "Okay, but I can still be grateful for this." So as much as I agree with that, I think no one can save you, like, you have to save yourself, and all those things that I just said, like, all those things that I want, those things don't go away, like, my wants and my needs, they don't go away, and, like, my insecurities and all the things that I feel bad about myself in my past, or like not liking to revisit the past that I feel like was the worst versions of myself. All of those things, unfortunately, they don't just poof disappear because you found the love of your life. Those are always going to be there. So I think for sure, if we're talking about relationships and love, never try to find someone to make you happy if you're not already happy. And don't expect anyone to, yeah, like save you from this very hard world that we all live in. Like, we all have to deal with a lot of different relationships, a lot of friendships, family matter, personal health, work life, trying to make it in the society and making money and all this stuff. All this complicated stuff already as it is without all the other things that I didn't even mention. Um, yeah. And it's crazy to think, but I didn't really feel like I was that insecure. Now, like, now looking back, I'm like, wow, some of my early stage relationships, I really was pretty, like, insecure about myself. Like, I didn't feel like I liked myself enough, and I wasn't even fully not, like, fully formed as a human being, because I know some people are like, "Oh, did you know, like, your frontal lobe or something in the brain is not fully developed until you're 25," and blah, blah, blah. You could look that up yourself, do your own DD. But I have some friends who believe in that. Therefore, they say, "Okay, anything before 25 they did is, like, more childish, and then after 25 is more serious, and they're more accountable." But I think, to be honest, past the age of 16, I feel like I've learned a lot more and I'm more educated now, but a lot of the things that I did, whether it's a mistake or I regret it, I am held accountable for it, and I should be held accountable for it as much as anybody would at the age of 50. Like, I knew what would cause someone, like, pain. I knew what would be, like, a mean thing to say. So, it's really no excuse, I feel like, just by saying, like, "Oh, like, my frontal lobe's not," and I have friends who are like, "Yeah, no. It doesn't matter. If you did, like, a really mean thing in your early 20s, after you turn 25, like, it doesn't just all of a sudden, like, you're gonna change, right?" And I do another reason why I believe this is, like, okay, if you decided to, like, cheat on 3 partners in a row, let's say, or even one person, if you decided to cheat in a relationship when you were 21 years old, I don't think people just magically change at the age of 29 and after. But maybe they could. Maybe they could after one mistake or not, you know? Um, but I definitely think that a lot of people, and I'm saying this from experience of knowing a lot of girls and even guys that have been in relationships that didn't work out, and, like, if you, like, study your relationships, the ones that failed, like, the friends of yours that you know, I think you're gonna find that a lot of the times when people come out of relationships and they're usually the one being manipulated, or they're the ones that are quiet while the other one is fully in control, or either the abuser, and there's different levels to it, of course. There's physical, there's mental, or the other person was just a total cheater. I think you'll come to see that the person who stays in a relationship that you find very, very questionable usually doesn't hold themselves up to a certain level of self respect in a sense, but not just that. I'm not saying they don't respect themselves, like, and they don't care what happens to them, but it's more like being secure with yourself and loving yourself more. So again, it's accepting the love that you think you deserve. So I think some people, they're more people pleasers. So I've seen certain relationships where one part, like, one person in the relationship just always is a people pleaser and will put the other person above themselves. And they do that with, like, nearly everything. So of course they're doing that with the person that they're supposed to be dating. And of course that's problematic, because if you're going to find someone who's also, let's say, a people pleaser, and you're both just trying to, like, please each other, then there's not going to be much problems. But if one person is a total people pleaser and you have a lot of insecurities in yourself, and you think, and you're, like, with someone that you think is maybe even possibly above you, which is another problem, okay? Um but if you're in a relationship with someone else who's manipulative, and they know you're technically going to listen to most of what they say, and you're insecure, and that they think they're above you, and you also think they're above you, then you're gonna have a lot of problems. Eh, if they l even if they love you, that m that m is better, that's not might be better, it is better than someone who maybe is just using you. There's also a lot of that, where they don't love you and they just see basically someone they can take advantage of, and that's what manipulators do. But unfortunately, there's also relationships where they, in their mind, they love you. They do love you. They're not just using you for your money or your business or your connections or whatever. They may love you, but they don't know how to love you right, and then therefore that's why some certain people get taken advantage of still, and are in this, like, mentally uncomfortable abusive relationship. And again, you're in it, not to blame the victim, but we end up with the people that we basically, like, just accept the love that you think you deserve, because it sucks to be in a bad relationship, and especially when it's dating, okay? Because it gets really complicated if we're to talk about, there are certain women, it's like I've spoken to friends where in the older generation, depending on what country you're in, it gets a lot more complicated, because it doesn't just become, like, I'm talking more about the West, where most people have a choice. You be in a relationship, you're not happy, you leave, you bounce. This is not, and you have your own job, hopefully. So you're not, like, financially tied to the other person. Everything gets more complicated when money is involved, of course. So when you're in a relationship and you're not financially capable and the other person is manipulating you and telling you to do things and saying horrible things about you, it's really hard for you to leave because you, like, need them. And then when kids are involved, that's also much harder. When there's a lot of parents would just, like, only think about the child, and the child's young, and the child cannot speak up and be like, "Get out of this relationship, mom or dad," you know, until maybe, like, when they're a lot older. And maybe that's what they'll say, or maybe they'll not even understand you or understand, who's even in the right or in the wrong in the relationship. Um, but yeah, it gets way more complicated when I've spoken to folks where they were like, "Oh, well, this person couldn't leave because they felt like they were in danger and there really is no other way, or they don't have, like, their own family to go to." Like, let's say you're an orphan or you don't have any siblings, you don't have your own parents or anything, and you split up, you have a very bad breakup, you literally have no friends. Because that's also the type of relationship where sometimes I've seen folks get themselves into, and sometimes it's the other person that put you in that situation, like, they literally manipulated you to leave behind your own friends and family and leave behind everybody to, like, kinda go off with them, and then that way you're, like, indebted to them and you need them financially and you need them in every single way, shape, or form, and that's how they can keep up with this, like, whole vicious circle of just telling you what to do, even if it's the wrong thing to do, and gaslighting you and tons of other bad things. So, I think we need to take accountability. I'm gonna stick to that. It's not blaming the victim, it's just taking accountability for who you end up with. Because as long as even if you are completely alone, like, even if you have no one to turn to because either they made it that way or it was your choice, because you could say it's the other person that manipulated you all you want, but for you to kind of, like, I've never been in a relationship where a guy has asked me to kinda, like, stop talking to my parents or stop talking to any of my close friends. If they ever even tried, I would've just bounced because that's not okay for me. Like, I think that's up to me. That's up to you, whether when you get into a relationship, to know what's real, what's yours, and, like, what someone shouldn't be trying to erase. Unless, like, all your friends and maybe your family just, like, completely sucks and you never realized it, and they're, like, pointing out the obvious to make you have a better life. That is another situation that could be possible. Um, but there is a lot where they're just trying to cut out everyone around you. So then when they're manipulating you or gaslighting you, it's like there's no best friend to go in there and be like, "Well, this is not okay." So, yeah, you we all have to take, I think, accountability for who we end up with, who we continue to be with, because there's also situations where, like, it's not really your fault that you ended up with someone because maybe they completely acted like they were someone else, which is really scary, but I've seen it. I've seen it in real life, and I've also seen it on, like, these murder documentaries and celebrity stories that are proven to be true. Like, I think I talked about this on one of my live streams where I was really shocked. Like, I know people lie. People lie about who they are for the money. Usually it's money. Um, to kind of, like, get with someone who's, like, wealthier, and then afterwards they bounce. Um, that's usually I always thought that that would be, like, a short-term thing. Like, they'll do that for, like, they'll marry you, and then they'll stay with you for, like, under a year, maybe 2, 3 years. I don't know. Or depending on what's written on the prenup, if there is one. I've always known that some people would do this just because, hey, maybe it's easier for them to do that and just lie and pretend they love you for, like, 2, 3 years than it is for them to win the lottery and get 2, $3 million, right? There are unfortunately tons of folks who do that, but there was a story that, like, still gives me chills where I think it happened in China where there was, like, some male celebrity, I forgot his name, but I think he's, like, a comedian or whatever, and then he got married to this woman that knew he was a celebrity, but he wasn't that big at the time when they got together, but he was, like, a rising star, and the money was definitely unbalanced. So, like, she had a lot less than him. She was not a celebrity, she was working, I think she was, like, a journalist or something in the media field, and he thought he was in love. They got together, had kids, I believe. And then the story broke out, I think, like, a decade later that she was cheating on him, and then she was, like, writing these text messages saying that she never actually loved him, and, like, she basically tried to take all his money. Yeah. I think she still ended up with, like, a bunch. Good for him, though. The story ended in a good ending in the sense where I mean, it's still terrible ending that someone would do this to another human being and then end up having kids and all that, but it ended still okay, in my opinion, for the guy because he ended up still, like, getting better roles and making more money, so I don't think he's been, like, completely shattered. It would be really sad if, like, she took it all, and then he ended up with nothing and then just, like, this grudge, right? So, yeah, that actually, like, put chills to me because I'm like, "Wow, 10 years? 10 years with someone that you don't actually love just to later on, like, stab them in the back?" Like, how c I could never. If I had a I don't even have pets, but if I had a relationship with a goldfish or a turtle and that I raised or was just living with, like, even if I had a friend and I was living with my friend and my friend had a turtle or, like, a dog, and even if that's not my own, and I was with that animal for, like, 10 years, I would feel for it. I would never do anything bad to it. So it's just kinda crazy to me that people would do this. Yeah, it's really insane. So definitely guard yourselves. I am, 100% for testing people out, especially if you feel like their intentions are wrong, and then a lot of the times you can figure it out. You're like, "Do they like me for me or they like me for what I can give them?" If your finances are completely, like, day and night, like, one person has, like, $100,000,000 and the other person has, like, $10 in the bank account, then, yeah, I'm not gonna I don't not gonna call it true love. I don't care how you met or even if you felt like the person didn't know you were wealthy when you met. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to believe that, you know, any of that is real love because I think if I was in a situation where I only had $10 to my name and then somebody had like, I don't know, $10,000,000, I wouldn't even feel like and it's not just like me as me, but let's say like I'm trying to come up with an example. Um, yeah, let's say like that person is like knows a lot about art and science and they're just like really, really intelligent. And I like to, I don't know, go bowling and nothing wrong with bowling. I like going bowling, but I like to go bowling and just watch cartoons all day. And I have no interest in art and like high society life. And I have no money to my name. I would feel like that relationship just wouldn't even make sense to start with. So it's almost like I don't believe that that would work, one, and then like, but relationships with, like, people with different amounts of money happen all the time, but I think when the discrepancy is way too high or, like, let's say the woman goes into a relationship and she doesn't provide anything, she doesn't know how to cook, clean, like, or have a job to hire a nanny or anything like that, like, you're literally bringing nothing to the table, and then the guy is just providing for everything. That whole situation of accepting you accept the love that you think you deserve, I feel like would then apply to the guy. Where if you are with someone like that, that's just mainly using you, and it's like, how do you feel about yourself though? I think it goes both ways. It's like if you are in a relationship and they're like mentally abusing you, manipulating you on that, and you're staying with it, you really do have to question like, why do you think you deserve this? Like you have to love yourself enough to understand that you deserve better when these really bad things are happening to you. And it's also why I don't really believe in like I've heard of many stories, a lot from my parents, like friends and stuff, where like some women would just like stay in a relationship knowing that their husbands cheated on them, um, and just really kind of stick around because they're holding a grudge. They don't wanna let it go. It's like they want the mistress to be, like, very unhappy that they'll always kind of be a mistress type of situation, and I get that, okay, being, like, mad and pissed that, like, some younger woman, 15, 20 years younger, like, stole your man, but at the same time, it's like, you don't deserve it. Like, and I've seen so much of this, and it makes me sad that women would then go on to once you know your husband's cheating on you and they're hurting you, like, mentally every day, and they wanna leave you, and you're not willing to sign the papers because you just wanna drag this on, but they're never home, and they're always with their mistress. It's like you're just suffering, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, just dragging on this, like, terrible relationship. It's not even a relationship at this point, right? Like, you don't have him anymore. You've lost his heart to somebody else, and I feel like you deserve better at that point. Like, once I'm saying this now, but I'm not married with 3 kids and, you know, being cheated on, like, the situations type of situations that I'm trying to tell you guys right now. And I honestly, like, I would freak out. I wouldn't know what I would do, but I'm just saying that this is what I like to think that I would do, and this is, like, me in my proper mental state without it happening to me, like, third party advice that I would advise. If this were to happen to me, I'll probably refer back to this video, and hopefully I'll be bring myself back to sanity again. But I get the rage. I totally get the rage. Who wouldn't rage, right? But the sane me, now looking at it as, like, from, like, another perspective is I just think it's really sad when women are wasting their own happiness on a man that doesn't love them anymore, and then you're in a sense accepting the love that you think you deserve, and you don't deserve that. You just don't deserve to be with someone that is horrible to you. I don't even wanna be in the presence of that. I truly believe in out of sight, out of mind, and I know it's obviously much harder if you share kids. You can't just be like, "Out of sight, out of mind," like, "Yeah, okay, we have 3 kids," but you never see them again. Like, it is harder when you have children, but there are people in my past, like, whether it's through work or school, um, or other ways of meeting where I like, hate is a very strong word. I don't hate anyone now in my life, thank God. But at one point in my life, there were multiple people where I used the word hate for, and I was like, "I hate this person. I hate their guts. I hate everything about them, and they don't like me either." And I just could not handle the thought of them, like, in my mind, seeing them in person, it was awful. And I just I feel like that would be the same feeling, like, if, like, my husband were to, like, cheat on me, and then I know this mistress exists, like, I wouldn't want to think about them. And I do believe in deleting people from my mind. It really does work. But I believe in removing yourself from the situation more. There's been people that I, like, absolutely did not like. I had to, like, for work purposes and whatnot, like, they were in my life for a bit, and it sucked, okay? And I would try to vent to friends and family, talk about them, journal about them, and how much I dislike them, but you still see them physically, and you see their face, you hear their voice, it is awful. Um, so once I remove myself from, either that workplace or that situation or that group, I was much happier, and then beyond and then, like, you could still be pissed for a while, like, I think I was still, like, a little annoyed for a while, and they'll still be on my mind, but eventually with time, oh my god, thank God. With time, it all eventually went away, and now I just think back to it, and I just laugh at the fact that I ever allow myself to be in the presence. I mean, I allow myself, I guess, for the money if it's related to work and stuff, because you go to work for money, and, if y there happens to be ex-coworkers or people around, that are related to your work that you dislike, that just it sucks to suck. Um, but yeah, after time, like, so much time passed, I'm just like, "Oh, it sucks that that took me so long to, like, have to waste my brain cells thinking about and disliking this person, they're not even worth it." But it goes away, and life does get better when you just don't think about people that you don't like. Like, I have people where, I wouldn't say I hate, it's just, like, I dislike or mildly do not like much, and I could still be, like, technically following each other on Instagram or something, and that's totally fine for me. Like, it's possible to stay acquainted and not, like if you don't like confrontation, which I do not like, um, Some people are just really good at confrontation and they're like, "Oh, I don't really like you," or "I 35% don't like you." Block, delete, like, no explanation to the person. I am more like avoid confrontation, especially when we're never that close anyways. Like, I would definitely tell, like, a close friend, like, "Okay, you're pissing me off," or like, "How do we fix this?" But if it's someone, like, I never really cared for and they don't care for me, but I'm, like, over it, I kinda don't like them, but I don't need to kinda be like, middle finger in your face, block and delete. I just leave them. I can leave them on my social media. I just never look at I don't think about them. I don't need to look at what's going on. And even if I do, it doesn't even bother me because I'm like, they're not in my headspace. So, anyways, I truly wish that for any of you guys that has ever had a moment because this has happened to me like through even like elementary school and onwards, where you just have people that you like don't really like, but then it's like, man, especially when you don't like someone and they show up all the time and you're like, you have to think about them. I do believe in out of sight, out of mind. Life is better when you're not thinking about people that you don't like or did you wrong. And I think that includes, like, romantic relationships. If they did you wrong and they're not serving you anymore, you don't want them in your headspace. Mm, you don't wanna be around them. I definitely wouldn't wanna be around someone who, like, cheated on me. Um, yeah, I think it's just best to leave and then just not have to think about it. Like, I get revenge, like, people wanting revenge, and then so, like I said, situations where women just kind of, like, latch on and they're like, "I'm never signing those papers. You can't make me." Um, I get where that comes from, but I just don't agree with it because I think at the end of the day, you're not realizing your own power and your own happiness and how much better off you would be if you just let it go and then started to search for your own happiness instead of drowning in a relationship that is no longer yours. You're literally just playing around, and I guess now this relationship between your husband and a mistress. This is my coffee from the morning. I'm really proud of myself when I finish drinking my coffee because I usually make, like, such a big cup. It was all the way here in the morning. Um, so yeah. Throughout my different relationships that I've had, looking back at it, I'm just like, "Wow." Those are like, especially the bad ones. Not all of them were bad. I can't say all my relationships were bad, even if some of them ended badly, um, and some of them I regretted were, like, dragged on way too long than it should have been, like, I should have ended it sooner. It really just comes down to self-growth and the fact that I didn't love myself enough. It's sad to say, but it is the truth. I think, like, when I look back at moments of what was not said or what I wish I had said sooner, I just didn't feel like I deserve better, and now I think I'm in the headspace where, like, I will leave a relationship. Thank God I don't have to. But I will leave a relationship if it just doesn't make me happy because I value myself more, and I think that also applies with, like, everything. With work, everything. And, like, especially, like, now because I do social media, like, I have companies that'll just come in and ask me to do sponsorship, like, send me very long emails or be like, "I want you to do this, 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 A, B, C, D, E, F, G," a very long list. And it's like, maybe me, like, 10 years ago, I would have been like, "Oh, yes, like, I'll do exactly that." Like, I'm more obedient and because I didn't value myself as much. And now I think, like, as I'm doing more with my life. So, like, I feel like in the past, I also was more, like, inexperienced. I also didn't have as much money. I felt like I didn't have as much power. Not just the money, though. I don't feel like, okay, just because you feel like you have more money, like, all of a sudden you can do whatever you want. It's not that. It's just, like, now I feel like the more you've, like, established for yourself, the more you can, like, negotiate as well. And I think back then, like, 10 years ago, the way I view myself was like, "Oh, I'm not really that capable." So if you, like, tell me to do something and you, um, own a company and you're a boss or whatever, then you must be right because I don't own anything. I don't know how to run a business back then, and there's just, like, not much I can add to the conversation. Like, that's kind of, like, how I felt looking back at who I was back then. Um, I would still try, and it's funny because now looking back, I'm like, "Oh my god, I would still try to be confident." Like, I would still try to act like I knew what I was doing and that I was confident, but truly looking back, I'm like, "Oh, no, I wasn't." Like, not in my relationships, not in work, like, I didn't stand my ground for a lot of things that I wish I stood my ground for, like, even people who were, basically, they didn't even pay my bills, and they were, like, in the same position as me, like, asking me to do something, I didn't really wanna do it and help out because I feel like, okay, I'm basically just, like, doing work for free. I would help out because I didn't know how to, I didn't know better to be like, "I'm not gonna do that. I don't have time for you. Why would I be doing that? Like, that's your work, or you go hire someone and pay someone to do it." Like, now I think I'm more like, "Okay, this is my time, my value, what I'm worth, and I'm not gonna accept BS, basically." And that's why I'm saying like this, you're going to everything in life that kinda, like, comes at you, and we can't control, like, what our friends say, what our family members say, what they expect from us, what your boss expects from you, what your coworker expects from you. People are just gonna come at you left and right, and there's always gonna be people that try to take advantage of you. There's always gonna be people that's like, "Oh, that's a people pleaser? Okay, let me take advantage of that." And it's just honestly up to you to cut that off, know your worth, and know that you deserve better. And you can actually get more and more, I feel like, out of life. And it's funny because I also heard this thing recently where someone was talking about how the more bad you speak of yourself, the more others believe it. And I think it did happen to like a friend of mine where it was like a situation where they were saying that, okay, like they said certain negative things about themselves, and their friend or partner at one point was like, "Oh yeah, like I do view you like that." And that's so not okay. Because usually I believe in being a realist, like telling people the truth, where if I gained, like, let's say 30 pounds, and I clearly gained 30 pounds or something, and I like, tell my SO or my friends, I want them to like, and I'll say like, "Oh my god, I need to get more fit. I was way more fit before. I was way skinnier before. Like, I think I need to get back where I was happier then for myself." Right? And I don't want people to sugarcoat it. I don't want people to be like, "Oh no, like you're so skinny," or like, "You don't need to. You actually are skinnier than you were when you were like, I don't know, in college or something." Like, I don't, like, want the lies, I actually, like, want the truth, and I think it's actually way better when people tell you the truth. Um, but but I d but if you say stuff like, "Oh, I don't believe in myself." Okay, like, I don't believe I can so I actually I said that before where I was like, but I it's like one of those things where, like, you say it, but you don't want the other person to actually agree with you. So I've definitely said, like, "Oh, I'm not sure, like, I really want to, and I think I can get to 100,000 subscribers on my main channel, currently at 25,000. Thank you guys. Um, but yeah, I've said before, I'm like, "Oh, I might not ever get to 100,000 subscribers. That's just really hard. It kinda sucks that I put in this effort and might not reach it," right? And I say this, I've said it probably many times to, like, my SO, and no one, including friends, and no one has ever said to me like, "Yeah, I don't think you can do it, like, you really, like, suck." I mean, maybe they do believe that, and they should tell me that if they think, like, my videos absolutely suck and I'm never gonna make it. But you usually don't want people to kinda say, like, the worst things about you that you're, like, afraid of because they wouldn't know the end result, right? So for them to just be like, "Ah, you can't do it," is kind of like a total attack on your abilities and skills and all that. Um, but yeah, in love, you have to believe in yourself. And it sorry, the thing that I also heard about was that the more you, like, value yourself, the more other people value you, so that's why also I believe it's like, when you don't value yourself and you see yourself as, like, kinda below everyone, they see it. It's kinda crazy, but, like, I once I heard about that, I was like, "You know what? It's true." When I see confidence, like, in somebody that I just see at a restaurant or, like, at the mall, like, you can just kind of see when someone the way they carry themselves, the way they speak, confidence, happiness, like, it beams through them, the way they talk and their energy, and then when someone's just kinda, like, not confident, they don't believe in themselves with everything they do, they're, like, unsure, people see that. People see that, and then not everyone is and then gonna agree with you because I see people that are not confident, but I see the value. Like, I see their potential. But then I also can understand why someone would be like, "Oh, this person just won't be able to make it because they, like, really don't believe in themselves." Because you obviously are gonna make your bet on who's gonna succeed on something more when someone else is, like, way more mentally like, if I was hiring someone for a job, I would definitely go for the person who's more vibrant and has high energy and believes in themselves versus someone who's like, "Oh my god, I don't think I could do this. Like, I don't think I could do a good job." Like, whether it's office work or you have to show face for, like, whether you're gonna be, like, a reporter and you clearly have to be confident, or it's, I don't know, like a software job. You'd rather want someone who's, like, more confident in themselves. And I think that also weirdly, strangely does tie back to love because if you're if you're constantly going to act like someone or you are someone who most people view as just go along with everything, um, like a yes man, and you're just like whatever about everything, like even if something bothers you, or like let's say you're dating someone and that person like never brings you out, uh, you you never meet their friends and family, and you think it's kinda sketchy that they, like, don't see you that often, maybe they're hiding their phone, maybe their phone's always upside down, or they never post you on social media, all these things, but then you know all these things, and you are totally bothered by it, but you don't say anything? Yeah. To a manipulator's eyes, that's considered weak, and they will just keep doing it to you. So you do not and they'll never love you for it. Like, what's crazy is that sometimes when people think they're being nice, like, "Oh, I'm just being so nice. I'm being so chill. Like, I don't call out people for things." You can think of it as being nice all you want, but there's gonna be a whole other group of people that will view that as just completely weak, someone to take advantage of, and then there will be girls and guys out there who will take advantage of you simply because that is your personality trait. And you may think of it as you are just being very civil, very nice, not speaking up about things, but that makes you a target. Like, unfortunately, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You will always get the love that you think you deserve, and other people see it too. Like, if other people think you don't value yourself, guess what? They're not going to value you. If and it's weird. It's like it's also the same as like I feel like people who unfortunately say yes to a lot of things too. I I've, like, observed this, and I realize it is kind of a thing, and this has been a thing since, like, high school, where if you say yes to everything, people just think you have, like, so much time on your hands, and they're like, "Oh, what a loser." Like, they say yes to everything. Like, do they not have any other plans, anything going on? Like, it's so sad to say, but it is what a lot of people think and do, and, like, that's how they treat you when they're like, "Oh, like, you're almost too available." But then, like, sometimes people are just being nice, or maybe they like you and they said no to other people, right? Like, it's kinda crazy that people say these things, but it's also a thing. So it's almost like the more you love yourself or the more you almost in another person or most people's eyes, love yourself or carry yourself in a certain way, then they love you more. And with all this being said, I'm not telling you to fake it, fake anything, pretend to be anything. If you are who you are. So you can't change that, right? Like the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, what plans you say yes to, who you say yes to. That's all really like I think who you are. But I think we all just need to kind of keep it in the back of our minds that if you are in a relationship that you are questioning, you're not happy with, whether it's a friendship or a love romantic relationship or family, we no one can save you from that. Not a therapist, not your other friends, not your family members. No one else is going to save you. There's not going to be like the prince charming that comes and swoops you off your feet and you tells you to leave your current relationship to be with him. Like it's just none of that. You just have to be ultimately the only person to save yourself and be like enough is enough. I deserve better and get out. Get out. And maybe you, like, learned later. And, like, again, there's also that sunken cost fallacy. There's that sunken cost fallacy. Hi there, raw food writer. There's a sunken cost fallacy where it's unfortunate. I've been there too myself, where you're like, damn it, I've been in this relationship already for like 3 years of my life. Oh, if I leave now, I'm like however much older, and you're like, it's the dating pool is smaller now. Like, dude, I was thinking that I wasn't gonna find anyone at the age of like 23. Okay, so this crazy stuff. Everybody thinks about it. Like, I thought I was old at 23 after a breakup. Like, now looking back, I'm like, what is wrong with me? But yeah, there's the sunken cost fallacy of I spent so much time in this relationship. And if I leave right now, like, all that time is wasted. And then, like, what if I don't find anyone else? But then it's a lot of it is like the time. But then, like, who cares about the time? It's about you. It's about you and how happy you are. And like, it's so insane to, like, even admit back to that, but yeah, like, at one point in my life, I was seriously pondering, like, leaving a relationship, and then I was like, "Oh, wait, but I've been in it for so long, and, like, now it's harder." But then it's like, "What? That doesn't even make sense." It doesn't make sense in the thought process of a job even, it doesn't none of it. If it's like you're so unhappy, nothing is worth your peace, like, nothing is worth being unhappy here, ever, no amount of money, like, I am so into my own peace now that, like, I like free things. Like, I like it when companies send me stuff and they want me to make a video or whatever. I don't actually respond back to all my emails because it just sometimes I'm like, "Oh, enough is enough." Like, I'm like, I wanna be, like, bigger on social media. Obviously, when you do collabs with other social media accounts, it's better, but, like, I don't wanna mess with my personal peace and also kind of, like, what I'm uncomfortable with. So I've always said no to, like, collabing with other creators just because I don't feel comfortable in case I meet the wrong person and it's like a murder case. No, I'm just kidding. But I wanna protect myself from that, at least for now. Like, I don't feel comfortable meeting people. It's just been a rule I've always made, and I'm not meeting people for, like, content creator to content creator content. But I do business creation content where it's like, okay, someone wants me to, like, make a video or sponsor videos. I've always done that. But even through the sponsor video stuff, I'm like, "Oh, I've already agreed to do, like, let's say 5." And I'm like, am I ready to do, like, 50? No, I'm not. Okay, then I'm gonna stop, like, reading all the emails. So I apologize if you ever send me an email and I didn't actually look at it or respond back, but hey, these guys don't just send it to me, they send it to, like, everybody, or a bunch of other creators, so I'm sure not everybody responds back, so I don't actually feel that bad. I don't feel that bad when I'm, like, not that nice to, like, I'm not mean in my emails to any businesses or whatever, but I just don't care if it's like I ghost you because it's like I don't owe you anything. You don't owe me anything, I don't owe you anything. But if I do agree because I happen to see your email and then we're working on something, I'll always be there. Like I've been some companies like message me and they're like, "Oh my god, some influencers like said that they were going to help us do something and then they promised and then we gave them blah 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 and then they like didn't do it." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks." But, that's kind of like being ghosted in a relationship. It happens. Raw Food Writer says, "Do you have any advice for getting over a broken heart?" Are you heartbroken right now? I'm so sorry to hear this if you are. Um, I believe in letting it out. I've had my heart broken more than a few times. I believe in crying. I know, like, the world views, like, women crying as, like, not a big deal as, like, men crying, but I believe in crying. I believe in shedding tears, female or male, it doesn't matter. Humans, if you got it, flaunt it. I believe in that, and I think that goes with emotions. If you can laugh, laugh. If you can cry, cry, and I don't know, I'm like a eater. Like, I like to eat when I'm happy, I like to eat when I'm sad, but then, like, it kinda sucks because, like, I think going through breakups, I will do that phase where I'm just eating a lot of stuff that just makes me happy because food does bring me joy, I live for food. I think if all else was gone and I didn't have love in my relation like, in my life right now, I didn't have anything, I still live for food. And, like, this is crazy, like, I don't know if everyone else does this, but I say this to my SO all the time. I'm like, "Okay, if I'm not here one day, knock on wood, but, you know do I have any wood near me? I'm very superstitious." But I always say this to him, I'm like, "If I'm unfortunately, like, not here one day or something happens to me, like, everybody gets old and passes away. I'm like, if something happens to me, I want you to be happy and to, like, just live because, like, that's how much I love him, right? Like, I want the best for him. So I'm like, I want you to live, and I just think, like, life is just worth living, you know? And having it's so cheesy, but I do believe, like, having had love is way better than to have never had it all. So I don't care if you had a wonderful family and a dog and the perfect picture, and then something happened and you don't have that right now. The fact that you had it I'm not saying you are the only winner because many people have had it or maybe has it longer than you. But it's like, who's to say which one is better, right? Only you know that. And I think like it is truly a gift to have loved anyone. I've unfortunately met people that have no idea what love is. And I don't think they ever will. And I think that's the saddest of all when you can't love or you don't even or some people like so you look at them and just like you know they don't love. You know it's all contracts and numbers and just dollar signs, and there's no emotions. It's literally, like, blank behind the eyes, and I don't wish that upon anyone. Unfortunately, some people are like this, maybe other reasons for them becoming like that, but, yeah, some people just never love, and I think we all need to remember that having loved, even if you were cheated on honestly, like, I told you guys that I've been cheated on before, so falling in love, everything's perfect, and then getting hurt, getting your heart shattered. So, like, there's breakups and then there's getting dumped for no reason or, like, being cheated on and therefore the relationship has to end. Um, that's so much worse. So there's different levels to it, but every time, every time a relationship ends for me, and it is the hopeless romantic in me, I do believe in what I just told you guys. I'm like, even before I got into this relationship with my SO for many years now, I did tell myself, like, "Hey, you know what? If I never fall in love again, that is gonna suck so hard because obviously I had my heart broken multiple times, but at least I've had it. Like, at least I know what I was giving in the relationship." I think, like, as humans, we can't really control what other people feel, and sometimes, like I said, there's massive manipulators. There are people out there who could trick you for 10 years for the money. So and have kids with you. We don't wanna set too much fear in you guys. You're like, "I don't wanna fall in love anymore." You just have to, like especially when someone makes you question that hard, um, there's probably something up with them, you know? So you do have to protect yourselves, in a relationship, right? Like, there's just certain red flags that you can't ignore, and then if you ask your friends and family, they'll probably tell you. So you yourself just can't ignore the red flags. Like, there are certain people who are clearly doing things that are very shady, and unfortunately, I also see folks that just choose to ignore it. But yeah, I think being in love, having had love, as long as you were true as long as you were true in it. That's something I didn't think of as a kid. I was like, "Oh, I just wanna, like, I want love. I wanna be loved. I want this person to love me so much. I wanna feel so much joy." But I think now that I'm older, I'm like, I want my love to just always be true. I want like, me, like, I play a role in it too. It's not just being loved. It's like, I wanna make sure that my love for someone else is always true, and I hope that their love for me is true. That's what I hope for. But what goes on in someone's head only they know, right? So I'm happy when I fall in love with someone and I'm truly in love and there's no regrets. Even and I'm talking about even now in this relationship, as much as all my friends and family members are like, "Oh, like your man right now is like not going to cheat on you." They also said that about past relationships that did cheat on me. So, as much as people that are like, "No, it's never gonna" it could still happen. So, with my current relationship, everyone's like, "Don't worry, it'll never happen." I was like, "It could, but then what am I gonna do?" Right? Like, I will be so pissed, but I will not regret having loved. Because to me, I love being in love, and I love the concept of it. I love the feeling of it. I love giving love to some like another human being that I chose, like out of I guess, 8 billion people on this planet. I think it's very magical. I will always think that love is closest thing to magic, and it's not just love between, like, relationships, it's love with family, it's love with people. I think some people are just, like, even if you don't have love or friendships, some people just love, like, other humans, like, they just are a wonderful human being to be around. They're a bright, beaming light, and I think that's something that's kind of overlooked, but yeah, love is love. Um, she stayed with me long distance for 6 months, raw food writer says. Stayed with you long distance. Ah! Sorry, I'm not a believer in long distance relationships. I have seen long distance relationship work out though, like towards long-term dating and then marriage for some folks. But usually I will say this, the ones that worked out, it was like hot like fire upon meeting and you just happen to be living in different cities or different countries even. It's like hot like fire and usually when it's gonna go somewhere, it'll be within less than 6 months decided that, like, someone's gonna move somewhere or, you know, the future plans to be together very soon in the same city because I've never heard of it really and let me know if I just don't know enough, but I've never heard of a relationship where somebody was like, "Oh, I was in a long distance relationship and, we were living apart in different countries for 5 years. And then, afterwards, we ended up moving in together in the same city, and then we lived happily ever after and had children and got married. Like, I've never heard of that. So, I definitely do believe in not like shotgun wedding type, although I do understand, like, why people do that. It's like hot like fire, the passion is strong in the very beginning, which you do have to question because it's like, "Oh, is that gonna last?" Um, but I think most people you have to, like, make plans into action if you really love that person or, like, truly infatuated, and then it turns into love or whatever. Um, okay, so then she 6 months and then dumped me the day I got back, but I'm over her. Plenty of fish in the sea. Exactly. Okay, like, forget forget her, and then, like, I don't know what happened between you guys, so I can't comment too much, but yeah, I don't think I think, like, if especially within those 6 months, if no plans were made on either parties, like, oh, exactly what the future is, or maybe you wanted to make a specific future to, like, live in the same place or be together, and then if she was, like, never really talking about the future, then that's, like, your number 1 red flag. But I always tell, like I actually have a friend right now that is doing long distance, actually. But I also told her, like, I think it's, like, the guy in the relationship right now that does want to be together, but then my friend is the one being stubborn and is like, "Oh, well, let's wait and see." But at least, like, she is, like, very into him and stuff. And I'm pretty sure she would make that decision to live together within the year at least, or sometime soon. Otherwise, I definitely would also question her and both of them, like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You know? I think if you love someone, you do wanna be close. I'm not saying you can't have independence, okay? Like, I actually believe that I could, like, not see my SO for, like, half a year if push comes to shove. Um, let's say, like, he had to move to Antarctica for, like, business or something and make, like, $2,000,000. Just totally making an example. Let's say he was sent off to Antarctica, and I couldn't see him for 6 months, but he's gonna come back with, like, 2,000,000, but he's gonna be gone for, like wait, did I say 1 year or 2 I forgot. Like, maybe I don't wanna be apart for 2 years, but if it was just, like, 6 months, I'd be like, "Yeah, do it. Do it. Do it for the money." I could totally survive, and same for me, like, I think if I were to just have to be apart for at least, like, 6 months is acceptable, maybe even, like, a year if it was for, like, $10,000,000, like, it has to be worth it, so then it'd be placed for our future. But if it was like, "Oh, you guys can't be together at all, and then here's $1,000,000," like, literally, I would say no. Like, if someone told me, like, "Oh, I have to leave my SO and I get, like, $1,000,000,000, I literally you could put me on a line, I would, like, say no, like, I would actually turn down the money. So, I guess that's different, but I just don't believe in long distance, especially in the beginning stages of a relationship because I and most of the time, because you do wanna figure out a way to be with that person often. You could have your own time, like, I like to have dates where, like I think a lot of my friends who have, like, serious relationships now, like, they love double dates, and I think a lot of the girls, it's like we just want the guys to carry our stuff and drive, to be honest. Um, but I still like alone girl time, okay? Like, I still need that. And I don't have my own place yet, but in the future, I already told, like, a lot of my friends, I was like, "I want to do girly sleepovers like I did as a kid." Like, later on, if I have my own place, like, I want to do these girly sleepovers where we'll, like, watch Twilight or something and then, like, make popcorn and wear matching cute pajamas and take selfies and all that. Like, I wanted to do just, like, girly things, and I feel like it's you have to have your own thing, okay? You have to have your own thing apart from the relationship too. It can't just be the relationship, and I have been on this stream for way too long because my light just went out, but I hope you guys enjoy this. Um, to sum it all up, I will always believe in love no matter what happens. Clearly, I do because it's not like it was always great in my life for love. Um, I will always believe in it, and I think love is something that most of us are capable of, and sometimes it's almost like it needs to be unlocked maybe. Like, I think sometimes people could love, and it makes me sad because I think maybe they were never shown how to love. It's like they could love, they were never shown how to love. Um, if it was either maybe through parents, they weren't showed the proper examples, or maybe they were really heartbroken one time and it just ruined them. But I will always be a believer, and I hope you guys, if any of you guys are watching this and you've been heartbroken or you lost the love of your life, I think someone who truly loves you will want you to love again, even if they're gone. Like, I know I feel that way for, like, everyone I've ever been with and my SO, like, I truly wish them well, even if it's not with me. Like, even to my ex that, like, cheated on me, I'm like, "You know, kinda hated you in the moment, but I wish him well to be in love either someday or to be in love now and have children," and, like, it's basically I think the world would be better if we all had somebody, like, that we truly love and trust and can, like, tell things to, even though you can also do that with your friends. So, um, I am always gonna be a believer. I wish there was more every type of love in the world, family love, relationships, friendships. But even if you lost what you felt like was the great love of your life and you've given up on it and you're like, "I just wanna be with my cat or my dog or my children, and that's enough." I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I do think that some people can just enjoy life on their own if that's truly what they choose and what they think brings them joy and they haven't found the one and they don't want to go through the dating phase. I respect that. Um and especially like I said, it's even easier if you have already been in love. Like I even though I'm a hopeless romantic, I think like let's say if I'm lucky and by the time my hair is all white and I'm still with the same guy and or our relationship ends or he's no longer with me, I don't think I need to find another partner, um, but maybe I will, who knows? But the way I see it is I wish the best like, if you love someone, I think you just want them to be happy. So let's say he was the one that his hair is all white and I'm not there anymore. I would want him to be happy. And if he wants to move on, then move on. Do whatever makes you happy type of thing. Um, but yeah, we accept the love that we think we deserve. And I think we all need to think we deserve more. Um, and sometimes you you might be chasing something that's not even like you think you're chasing something that isn't love. You're chasing something that you think is gonna make you happy because unfortunately there are a lot of people that are just trying to be in a relationship like for getting money or something like that. And I think that is just bad for yourself because you're really gonna be the only person missing out on the feeling of being in love and being loved truly, because I don't think you can have love if you can't love yourself. Like, it's a two-way street. You have to give in order to get truly. Like, this person can give you the whole world, but they can also like, I think as humans, we have that sixth sense of like, "Oh, this person, something's off," or like, they don't actually love me that much, and therefore, I don't think the energy will be right, and you won't be able to receive as much if you're not true. So, at the end of the day, don't discount yourself. Believe that you deserve whatever your expectations are, but also be realistic. Because I know there's a lot of girls that are like, "I wanna go." What is that whole TikTok? 6'5", finance, blue eyes, something, something, I forgot. Oh my god, it was so catchy, how do I not know it? 6'5", blue eyes, finance, trust fund. Trust fund, blue eyes, 6'5", finance? I don't know, I forgot, but basically just that there are actually women who are chasing exactly that, and I'm like, "Do you know how low the population is with exactly that?" That is, like, less than 0 point something, something, something. I don't even know, but it's very low chance. There's literally a handful of men who actually hit those criterias that are, first of all, even maybe interested in you. Oh, actually, the least amount that is interested in you because you don't know their taste, but most of them are taken already. Most of them are taken already or not your age or whatever. So, I think we should accept the that's a whole other topic, but that's like standards, like the standards that people place in what they want, what they require out of their partner, which some of it is really nuts. And I'm like, oh man, no wonder so many people are single. It's because like the expectations are insane from male and female. I think like a lot of girls will tell me like, no, guys are just like expectations are too ridiculous. But I also see girls with like really ridiculous expectations, and I'm like, wow. Um, and so I think as much as I'm saying we accept the love that we think we deserve, and I want everyone who currently has their standards like here, and you're like constantly being talked down to, or you're being pushed around in a relationship, work relationship, friendship, love, family, whatever, no. You push back and you don't stay down here. You don't get pushed around and stepped on because nobody wants to do that. So you really just have to be the only person to be like, say no or leave the relationship, period. But then at the same time, I'm not telling people to have their expectations here. Like, let's say you didn't even graduate college and then you're like looking for someone from an Ivy League. Like, what are you doing? So in that sense, we also need to be more realistic with how much we're expecting from a relationship, but I'll talk about that in another episode. Try to stick to my titles from now on. User 1, hi there. Thank you so much for coming into this stream. I love it when I see you guys from the second stream. I actually don't know if anyone is actually on my channel that's not from the main channel. If you are and you are only watching my videos because you found it as is, please let me know in the comments or something later because I really want to know how the YouTube algorithm works. I'm like, is it actually sending my videos out to people who are complete strangers that don't know my main channel? That's what I want. That's what I want though. So let me know. But I appreciate obviously every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for hitting the like button always and staying here this long with me. Lord knows I need the hours. User 1 says, "What's your advice on trying to be yourself in relationships rather than pretending to be someone you're not?" Ooh, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Um, I guess I did do that though, because I think I did tell you guys one time, when I was younger, I was in a relationship with an older guy, and I thought I had just I had my, like, YouTube, like, I told you guys I started YouTube when I was, like, 17, I think, and then I deleted it quickly. Like, not deleted it, but I, like, ended up hiding everything because, like, a friend in high school found it, and I was really embarrassed. But then a part of me really wanted to do it, but I didn't actually do it because I was in this relationship with an older person, and I felt like he would, like, look down on me or that was embarrassing or something, like, I don't know, it was all in my head. I never actually spoken out loud like, "Oh, I wanna do that." At least I don't remember, and it's not like he was like, "Oh, that's childish," or "That's stupid," or like, "Don't do that, don't embarrass me." It's not like any of that happened, but I just didn't because it was like I wasn't fully myself. So, even in that part, like, subconsciously, I didn't know I wasn't, like, fully myself in the relationship, but now looking back, I'm like, "Oh my god, I wasn't fully myself." Whereas now I feel fully myself, and I think that's also one of the reasons why I love, like, my SO so much, and I know he loves me is because I'm literally doing everything, like, everything I want on this planet. There is nothing and I there are things that I never told my previous relationships that I told, like, this relationship because I truly, truly know that he is willing to and it was tested too, right? Because when I first told him something that was really bad for me, like, it made me look really bad. I was the villain. When I told him something like that about myself that only he knows, because it's really embarrassing when you talk about yourself in a bad light. Um, when I told it to him, it was kind of a test because we were already together, but I was just like, "I'm gonna lay it out on the table because I don't believe in not telling you, right? I don't believe in loving him. I'm not saying you can't have any secrets because if it's like if it's, let's say, one of my best friend's secrets and they're like, "Don't ever tell anyone." I'm not gonna tell, like, anyone and they say anyone, including whoever you, like, end up with or your SO or whatever. I would just respect my friends and not tell them. Not tell the person that I'm with. But if it's my own secret, I will be able to test with that. So I remember, like, when I told him a bunch of dirty little secrets and things about myself that are terrible, um, it was scary because I'm like, "Oh my god, I could lose this person because 'cause I'm admitting to all these things that are really bad about myself in the past, of course, but it's part of my past, and I was super grateful that he took it well, and he still loved me regardless, and I feel like it actually made my relationship, our bond, stronger, strangely. I do think that when someone is willing to trust you and they give you, like, a piece of information that's very vulnerable about themselves, and, like, for example, like, with me, I was really afraid that, like, if I told this to him, he might, like, leave me, and he ended up staying, and I think our relationship only ended up becoming stronger. Not saying that everybody needs to do this because maybe you just don't have secrets and you're just, like, a really honest person and everything's happy-go-lucky and you never done anything bad in your life. I don't know. That would be great. So congratulations if that's you. Um, but I think you should be as much of yourself as possible in front of your friends and in front of your loved ones. Like, I get that, like, in our society, it's constantly talked about that, like, people have different masks and it's, like, acceptable. I remember, like, my last job at the office, I remember, one of my bosses was, like, saying something to the whole, like, group, all the employees. He said something like, "You guys shouldn't act the same way you act at home and with your loved ones as you do at work, because work is work, and you should have a different mask for work." Like, you should basically be more obedient, and he didn't say the word obedient, but he's kinda like saying, "Oh, you should treat the workplace with a different face, because maybe you're, like, I don't know, really ridiculous and silly at home, and you shouldn't bring that to workplace." And I get it, like, if you, let's say, are a potty mouth with your friends, you're not gonna be swearing, like, as an employee at someone's company, okay? Like, that's just ridiculous. So I do believe in putting on that mask in terms of, like, filtering yourself, but I think if we're talking about love and we're talking about true friendships, as real as it gets, baby. Make it as real as it gets because I think, like, a friendship to me or a lot of acquaintances, when you know someone through someone and you go to parties and you mutual friends and all that, it's always gonna be surface level to me if I don't know, like, a detail about you, right? Like, maybe something that happened in your childhood or your relationship with your parents. Like, if I don't get into more details with you and you don't tell me something, it doesn't have to be tragic, but, like, I think the more details that I get from someone or I share with someone about myself and then they in turn share with me, I feel like our bond becomes stronger and closer. And it's also a good test. It's so weird being a human because I'm like being a human. Wait, what else can you be? A turtle? But it's so weird. I know it's so weird because it's almost like you have to be strangely vulnerable and play with your own feelings by doing this because like I said, there are going to be moments where you share a really vulnerable piece of yourself with someone you love and they're like F off. Like I'm done with you. I can't believe you did this when you were like 15. It's over. Unfortunately, there are. And I've actually known stories like this where this girl basically I know them through, like, acquaintances, but there's this girl whose dad, um, had committed a crime of some sort, but, like, in the past, and once I think it was her fiancé that found out, or, like, maybe even husband, to be honest. I know they didn't have kids, but it was, like, a story where this is real life story, where this woman like, this girl was with a guy, like, serious relationship, either about to get married or already married, and then once he found out this piece of information about her family, like, not even her, it was what her dad did, okay? Some type of crime, I don't know, like, and he dumped her, and I was like, "Oh my god, what an a-hole." Like, how bad can you be? Anyways, so that happened, and those things do happen all the time. So even though I'm telling you guys, like, I personally gave away a little piece of myself, like, owning up to things, you gotta be smart with it. Let's say there's 10 items on the list. Okay, 10 things that you did that you wanna own up to your person, and you wanna test them and see if they can, first off, keep the secret for you, and also, do they still love you afterwards? You don't just dump 10 things on them. You dump 1 drop in the bucket item, maybe, like, the most mild, spicy item on them, and then you see how they take it. And if you can see the judgment on their face, they're like, "Oh my god, you're a horrible person." I wouldn't drop the next 9 items, okay? Because you probably wanna give them some time to digest, and they might just leave you after that, like, that's also a reality we have to deal with. So but it's like it's a game. It's a game in a sense where you gotta give in order to get, and unfortunately, being vulnerable sometimes can get you more, but it can just also show you who people truly are, and it's like, okay, who cares? If they okay, if my SO, like, at the time when I told them all these things about myself that I am not that proud of, and if he left me, I'd be like, "Okay, you show me who you are then. Like, you don't actually love me for who I am if you can't accept my past." And maybe he wouldn't be the one to blame for the people who, like, ran away or whatever. Mm, maybe you guys just weren't a fit. So don't hate on people if they leave you for it. Don't you feel that most people, quote, love you, user one says, as long as you're not doing better than them in life? There's always secret envy, even though people will never admit to it. Yes. I do know that. And I think that applies at least not in my opinion, that what you just said, thankfully, I never felt it in a relationship. I've never felt it. Yeah, it's really weird. I've never felt that in a relationship where I was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy doesn't want me to do better than him. Like, this guy doesn't want me to make more money than him. This guy may not love me anymore if I'm doing better than him." I actually never felt that way. But oh my god, that's crazy. I get what you mean though. And that's why I have heard of relationships where some men will be, or women, but I've like the real life stories I know of are with the boys, unfortunately. But some men are insecure, and you can see this in like represented in Hollywood too, in like TV shows. But like some guys would feel emasculated if they started to, like, let's say they marry someone who was like more poor than them, right? Maybe they're a millionaire and the woman has like, I don't know, 100K to her name, but then she built a business and she got really successful. Then he became uncomfortable with that. And then for him to act out would be like to cheat on her and to feel better about himself. That is so insecure. Oh my God. So please don't do that. If I was a dude that was with a girl and she started off with 100K and I had like 10 mil to my name, well, first I get a prenup, but and then she became really successful, I'd be like, "Dude, that's amazing." Or if she all of a sudden had like $100 million, I'd be like, "Bomb, buy me a yacht." Like, I am totally for the other person performing better than me. I don't know. As long as they, like, truly love me and I truly love them, I'm for it. I think you should be each other's cheerleader, but I think what you're talking about more is I apply that more to I see in real life with friendships. I see that a lot with friendships and unfortunately even in siblings and family. I see a lot of, like, sisters, brothers, where, like, they love you a lot, but then it's like, okay, so this is true story. 2 sisters. One sister always was wealthier than the other, And then the other sister was always just kind of like not totally poor, like food stamps poor, but just was not glamorous, didn't even own a house at one point in their lives, just like was always doing worse financially. So the one of the sisters was just always more glamorous, had the fancy things, had like what seemed like everything servants. Um, and then one day all of that flipped. Their relationship was always pretty good when one sister was poor and the other one was rich. But when the one was rich is now poor and the poor one is, well, not crazy glamorous or rich because they were never a show off, but just they're just doing better now. They own a, like a big house, they're living large. Their relationship just became terrible. And it's unfortunate to me because I know them, and the one that went from poor to more well off is getting a lot of hate from the other sister, and she doesn't even know. She doesn't even know where this hate is coming from, but I know because I like to study people and just think of why people think in a certain way, and I it happens all the time, way more often than you think. I mean, it's kinda like the ugly duckling story too, right? Like, you see all these stories in high school, and it's total facts where, like, one girl is, like, always been the more popular girl, and then she has the best friend who's, like, maybe less attractive, but then once the best friend's always getting the attention and the best friend, like, gets out of her phase or, like, in these cheesy, rom-coms, like, she takes off her glasses and straightens her hair or whatever. I think I'm talking about the plot of Princess Diaries, but whatever. And then all of a sudden, the best friend becomes uncomfortable because the best friend's not used to all the attention no longer being on her. So, it's so bad, but, like, I'm not gonna say I'm above that. I feel like and I've talked about this. This will be, like, a whole episode on its own, but I feel like human nature, we are beings that like to compare to each other, and it's both healthy and a little sick because I think it's healthy because if you think of it in a healthy way, it's like, okay, let's all try to compete with each other to do better in life, right? Let's try to invent things and be the first to, I don't know, cure cancer or whatever, or like the Brian Johnson guy who's trying to live forever. Like, let's go. We all want to compete with each other and we want to like kind of do better. It's like you're trying to do this and like let's all try to be number one at our own niche, or like maybe we're both competing to be number one in like pharmaceuticals. It's good when it's like that, but then it's also so sick and unhealthy when it's like battling between friends. And then you're not true to your friends, or like if you wish like failure upon your friends or your family members or whatever, which is so bad to say and even think. But I do understand jealousy and I understand where those thoughts may come from. So I think one way to you can't avoid it though. I feel like you can't avoid it because when you're doing well in life, people are going to be envious even when they don't admit to being envious, right? And then some people are literally just not jealous of you at all. And it's funny because I've seen all parts of the spectrum. I've seen people say they're not jealous and I'm like, "Okay, but you're clearly jealous." And then I've seen people say that they like or like I see people think that other people are all jealous of them when no one's or maybe some people are, but other people actually aren't. And they just view it as like, okay, you have this, but like I'm not actually I don't really care what you have type of thing. Um User one says, if the girl becomes very successful, don't you feel that the girl would want to leave the guy because of hypergamy is not satisfied any longer? I'm not sorry if I'm really bad with the vocabulary. I don't know what can I search that up? Hypergamy is not satisfied any longer. Hypergamy? Am I saying that right? Hypergamy. I'm literally looking. Hyper hypergamy in context of relationships refers to a marriage or relationship where a person, typically a woman, marries or dates someone of a higher social or educational standing. It's essentially marrying up. Oh, I didn't know there was a word for marrying up. Yeah, I would just call that as marrying someone richer than you. Okay. Or more intelligent in every way. So yeah, marrying up. In social and or economic terms. While the term is often associated with women marrying up, it can also apply to men marrying down. Oh, well, that sucks. Why can't it be? It's also men marrying up too. There's also men who just marry up. But yeah, if the woman becomes too successful, then the girl will want to leave the guy. Well, I feel like that's not love then. I think if the girl okay, If a girl was poor, married a rich guy, and then the girl becomes super successful and she looks down on the guy, I don't think that was ever love then. And correct me if you think like if you disagree with me, I would love to know the thought process behind it. I welcome um yeah, other perspectives. I to me, real love is you love the person for who they are. You love them regardless of the financial status. But with that being said, I will never love someone and be in a relationship with someone if I, let's say, even at my current standing, like I don't even have a lot of money, but I work hard for my money. Um, I will never like if I was single right now, I would never be with someone who doesn't work. That's just not my cup of tea. Because to me, I'm like, okay, then no matter how much you tell me you love me, I'm the one bringing in the money, and you're not bringing anything at all. I can't respect that. I can't respect it. I can't love this person for it. Now, if I marry someone and they were working or I was working, and then one of us like and then we decided to have kids, and he told me or I told him to stay and be a stay-at-home dad, or he told me to be a stay-at-home wife, or one of us or we decided together like one of us has to like stop working as much or stop working at all to take care of the kids. That's different. But in the very beginning of your relationship, if it's that unequal, that's not my thing. That's why I don't get how, like, a lot of guys are okay with that because I'm like, no matter how much she tells you she loves you, if she doesn't work for her own money and you buy her everything, to me, you're an ATM machine. It's not love. She could just replace you with another ATM machine, which is another dude with more money. Like, how do people not get that? So, but then again, even I'm not saying just because you find a woman who has a job or a guy who has a job and then they marry you and the money is so unequal and you're a millionaire and the other person just has a job. I don't that also doesn't cut it because we already know stories of people being in a marriage for like 10 years and having kids and then just bounce, takes the money or try to take you for all you're worth or worse, you know. What are the ways all right, last one and I gotta go. What are the ways you would test someone to see if they are with you for the money or for the true love? Well, like, I am very lucky that me and my SO, when we met at least, now our finances are not as equal, I would say, but it's not like heaven and hell. It's not like one of us has $20 million and the other person has 20 bucks to their name. But when we met, it was pretty equal, I would say. Like someone clearly still had more, but a little more. It wasn't like heaven and earth type of situation. Yeah, it's not like one of us had $20 million and the other person had $20. If that was the case, I would like if I had 20 bucks and he had 20, I would question myself like, okay, how much do I love him? Or like how much like how uneven is this relationship gonna be? Because I would be uncomfortable as a person with $20 and the other person had 20 mil because I'd be like, what do you expect from me? Do you expect me to clean the floors all day long and like polish your shoes? Like this is gonna be such an unequal relationship, you know? So like I'm lucky that I feel like I never felt like he or anyone was in it for the money. Um, but then whatever happens afterwards when you're together, that's different. I feel like if you found someone when you were, let's say, poor and then you guys got rich together, that's different. But then let's say like one of you got rich and then they left you or took your money and left you or whatever, then you also just see their true colors. So it's like, thank God. But if I was really wealthy and I was single right now, like whether it was dude or a girl, I would probably still try to find someone. And I know it's kind of bad, and I didn't look at like how much people made when I was dating and stuff, like online dating. Never really cared. I wasn't trying to like look for someone with a lot of money. But I think if I have a lot of money, I wouldn't easily just date people. I think I would need you to be in a similar financial position. Like, let's just give an example. If I'm making $400,000 a year and I'm dating, you better be pulling in like half of that. Yeah. Or worst case scenario, if I'm making 400K, you better be pulling in 100. Otherwise, I'd be like, this is too unequal. And it still is unequal, I feel like. And then it's also about how they act, right? But again, you have to be good at reading people. So that's something you have to like work on for yourself because again, girls and guys can act. So it's like I could make 400 and then someone could make 100K and then they would like still convince me that they're not using me for money, let's say, because if we go out on dates, they could just be paying for everything and be like, "You never have to pull out your credit card, Lucy, because I'm just going to be paying for everything." But then if you get married to them and let's say like you don't have a prenup, they could still take everything, half my money, right? And then their true colors can show once they have access to half my money. Or maybe I have to pay them, is it called, it's alimony for women, but I forget, is it palimony? I don't know. Alimony, something. It's like what you pay the other spouse who has less money after divorce, that didn't have a prenup. So that is also really tiring and it sucks. Um, yeah, you just have to be smart with it and try to test them, but you can kind of see by the way they act, and then you can also try to like dig through dirt from their past. Like if there are certain shady people who like will not like they don't have long-term stories, they don't have long-term friends because clearly they lie a lot about themselves. So that's also a major red flag if this person doesn't have like much long-term relationships with anyone. And when you are around folks that they claim they know a long time, it seems like they barely know them or doesn't have that much detail on them. It's a lot about like figuring that person out, like how much you can find out about them. Do they have a good history with who they call friends? Meet those friends, find out more about their past, who they are, talk about past relationships, why they broke up. Don't just trust them for their words, whatever they're telling you. And I don't know, some little things I feel like you just can't fake. Um, on how they treat you. I more believe in someone loving me on the little things, but maybe they can fake it. I don't know. Like noticing when I'm cold, um, caring more about like my health than like just my overall happiness. Like the way that they speak to you, the things that they say to you. And also themselves, like, what I love one thing I love about my SO is that he's not materialistic. I am not against materialistic people, like, I like nice things, clearly, you can see the jewelry. Um, I like nice things, but I like the fact that he doesn't like nice things, and that's who he is, and, like, I have receipts, okay? You can't just, like, pop out of nowhere, have no social media, and, expect me to believe you are who you are, right? Like, I look through his old social media, I see that he never posts about, like, sports cars or whatever, or, like, I don't know, like, he doesn't do that. So, like, to me, it's also one of the reasons why I feel like I don't have to guard myself around someone who is, like, naturally not materialistic because there's a thing to it. Like, if you meet a girl and all they do every day is, like, try to post, like, Dom Perignon on, like, or, like, items that maybe aren't even theirs or, handbags and just, like, expensive things all day long, that's all they talk about, that's all they try to portray, that's all they post on Instagram stories. Yeah, if I was dating a girl like that, I'd probably be worried. And the same with dudes. Like, if all they post is sports cars and going to clubs and showing off like their newest watch, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you probably do want to find someone really wealthy to hit the status, whether it's girl or guy. You want status, it's obvious. And also most likely you will not care about how much you love that person. Um, and you're more inclined, not saying everybody who shows off their cars and their handbags is like materialistic and doesn't believe in love, but a lot they're more inclined to. I can make that guess. Some it also depends on how you got it, right? Like let's say you earned every dime of that. Like you worked really, really hard to build a business and you earned all those handbags. That's different than somebody who just like, let's say, dated a bunch of people and got those handbags off guys. And then I would question like, okay, you're probably just gonna go and try to date someone else for like more handbags. Like it's not so much about love. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me on this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Um, yeah, share my videos with your friends and family if you think that any of these could help them. I'm just gonna do like a lot of live streams with anything that just pops in my head. Today is about love. And love is something we can just like honestly go on so much about. So I have many, many more stories, good ones and bad ones to share with you guys in the future. Uh, yeah, take care. I hope you guys find the one if you haven't found the one. And if you have found the one and you're lucky enough to be loved and feel love, I think that's so special. Don't let them go. And I think like also something that a lot of people don't talk about is like, especially I think, like, when you found the one and it's so good, we do have to cherish it. Like, even friendships too, like, cherish that. It's not forever. If you don't water your plants and you don't work hard on your relationships and you start acting like you don't care and you take it for granted, then it's just gonna be gone one day. So, take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.